Welcome in. Glad you're along with us here. It is the Christmas week kickoff of Longshore and McKnight. Without Longshore, he has the day off today after watching the Saints beat up on the Jets yesterday in the Superdome 29-6. I'm Barry McKnight. Warren Matthews will join us after the first break. We've got a lot to get to on the show today. College football playoff, bowl games. Got to tell you, feeling pretty sporty about these guys, huh? We've got some good news. The Saints win, the Jags win, Alabama wins, and I don't know which I enjoyed more. You know, I'm no Oklahoma fan. I thought Alabama was going to win the game, but, wasn't totally confident in it. And after the first 20 minutes, I don't know which I thought was more compelling. Alabama's comeback. Alabama was down 17-0 with 10 minutes to go. Heck, let me check. With 7 minutes to go in the first half before Alabama scored a touchdown. And after that, after it was 17-0, after that it was 34-7 Alabama the rest of the way. Really impressive. And a couple of things to point out along that. But they say honesty is the balm of the soul. I got to be honest with you. My attention was drawn somewhat to social media during the 17-0 start for Oklahoma. Whew. Look, I know Alabama has got some wonderful fans. Some of my best friends in the world are Alabama fans. Wonderful people. My sister went to school at Alabama, has 2 degrees. And, you can kind of guess that every school has got fans like that. Wonderful fans, salt of the earth, love their school, simply put. And some schools have got fans that only really follow the team or root for them when it's going well. We found out who those were on social media after it was down 17-0. Why in the world do we even think that this Alabama team deserves to be in the playoff? Hey, Michigan, take our coach and his coaching staff, and you can take our quarterback too. It was a meltdown, not from all of you. I'm realistic. But holy smokes, if you ever wondered, hey, which people amongst my Alabama fan circle are really fair weather fans, well, now you know. I mean, you can take notice on some of those people. And then after it was over with, yeah, nothing wrong with it. It's part of human nature. But there were some fans who pointed out, hey, it's still early. This team, if it does anything well in its coaching staff, it's make adjustments. And you got to admit that is a strength. I mean, there's games where adjustments don't matter, where the other team's better than you are, or that you've got, injuries and in bad spots and you're too deep. But by and large, they've been able to make adjustments. Sometimes I wonder why they even come out with a game plan, why they just don't run, 10 plays and then see what the opposition's throwing them and then adjust from there, because they are really good at that. And they made adjustments, largely, I think, pressuring Mateer, popping him around a few times, and, doing some things on offense. Couple of things were really, really big in that one. Yet again, the biggest play in the game, if you ask me, obviously was that pick 6 late in the first half from Xavier Brown. Gave Alabama momentum going into halftime, certainly, and tied the game up. I mean, there's tactical advantage in not trailing anymore as you go into halftime. But that really flipped it. The saddle was slipping already. I have no idea what John Mateer was doing, where he was throwing to, because he threw it right to number 2. Don't know why. No reason for it. Part of it, maybe it was because he was getting popped around a little bit and he was getting nervous back there. But you go into halftime at 17-17, anybody's game after stinking it up. I'm not going to excuse this. They looked horrible at the beginning, right? I get the fans saying, hey, we look bad. Man, we need to. But the fans with the, we need to go ahead and ship our coaching staff off. I never liked him, da-da-da. That was a little much, if you ask me. And, of course, by the fourth quarter, they're all like, roll, Tide, roll, this and that. Tide's going to roll again. You've got your level-headed fans out there, even like our buddy way offsides Jeff, who says, hey, man, I was crashing out after that first quarter. And Jeff knows ball. It's not that I can blame you. Hey, man, we look terrible. What in the world's going on? It's this coaching staff needs to go. What are they even doing out there? Why do we even pay this guy? All that stuff. Anyway, I thought that was interesting out there. So Alabama wins it, and they win it by double digits. 34-24 is the final. They outscore Oklahoma 34-7 after they fell behind. Stars of the game. Daniel Hill had a 30-yard run. Ty Simpson, 2 touchdowns, didn't turn it over, got sacked 4 times. The 2 people that I think were the biggest in that game are both young players. Daniel Hill, he didn't do a ton. He only ran it 9 times, but he had that big 30-yarder. That helped. And where has Lotzier Brooks been the whole time? Freshman wide receiver. Has he been hurt? Has he been in the doghouse? Has he had academic probation? Something? Because that guy was the best player on the field for a long stretch of that game. 5 catches, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. A couple of those catches popping your eyes out there. I thought it was big having Cuevas back, but get that kid the ball more. Forget Ryan Williams with his 1 5-yard catch and a couple of drops too, I think. Goodness. Here's the synopsis of it all from Bob from Pike Road. Bama took care of business versus Choklahoma, now plays number 1 Indiana in Bama's home out west, the Rose Bowl, exactly 100 years to the day from Bama's first natty on January 1st, 1926 in Pasadena. Bama will win RTR. I did not know that. I love the history of football. Bama goes out there January 1st, 1926, and who'd they beat? It was like Stanford or somebody 100 years ago. Indiana is a 7-point favorite. I don't know about the 7 points, but Indiana is all that. Have they peaked? They need the rest to watch Alabama, extend themselves against Oklahoma. I don't necessarily think that's a thing because last year, a lot of the teams that had first-round byes didn't play all that well. Need to stay sharp. Boy, they looked good against Ohio State. Can they pull it off against Alabama? I think they can. Indiana's got that look. Their quarterback's playing better. They've got a better running game. Their offensive line is more consistent. Defensively, both of them pretty good. We'll see. That should be the best matchup of the second round. Here's what it looked like over the weekend, and we'd love to talk about it all. Again, Warren Matthews is going to join us. Here's what it looks like. James Madison got beaten badly. Not badly. Let me correct that. James Madison represented. Tulane did not. James Madison falls to Oregon 51-34, covered. Oregon looked not good at all in the second half. Ole Miss, 0 problems with Tulane. John Summerall, after the game, said, look, I understand why some people are saying the group of 5 doesn't belong after the way we played. Maybe there shouldn't be 2. but I think there definitely should be one. So Ole Miss moves on. Big game. Miami wins against Texas A&M in College Station. Ooh, tough for Texas A&M. Tough. Interception in the end zone. Didn't do much at all on offense. So here's what we've got in the college football playoff. Hang in there. Nothing this week. Nothing. Nothing this weekend. A week from Wednesday. Like 9 days. Ohio State and Miami in the Cotton Bowl, 6:30 ESPN. They're all on ESPN, by the way. That's Wednesday night. January 1st, New Year's Day, begins at 11 a.m. with Texas Tech and Oregon in the Orange Bowl. The middle game is Indiana versus Alabama in the Rose Bowl. That's at 3 on New Year's Day. And then New Year's night, it's Georgia and Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl at 7 o'clock. Indiana, right now, what I see is a 7-point favorite. And it's kind of looked that way ever since the Crimson Tide won and the matchup was announced. 7 points feels about right. They got the Heisman Trophy winner. They have played better than everybody else during the year. Let's see. Just looking down, I got to scroll through the entire listing. There is a lot of games before the college football playoff gets going again. I mean, a lot of games. Miami and Ohio State. Ohio State now about a 10-point favorite. Oregon, a 1.5 favorite over Texas Tech in that 11 o'clock game. Georgia, a 7-point favorite in the Sugar Bowl against Ole Miss. That's a rematch game there as well. So it's all set. Next up in the bowl system, the next big one's coming up. Well, tonight or this afternoon, you've got a game. Not great, not terrible. Gosh, do we even care? I care. They even pay attention to it. It's the Idaho Potato Bowl. This afternoon, 1 o'clock ESPN, where Utah State is a 1-point favorite over Washington State. Tomorrow's big, 3 games. Toledo and Louisville in the Boca Raton Bowl. Western Kentucky versus Southern Miss in the New Orleans Bowl. And then the Fiesta Bowl. I'm sorry, not the Fiesta, the Frisco Bowl. The Frisco Bowl tomorrow, ESPN. UNLV is a 6.5 favorite against the Ohio Bobcats. That's college football as it is right now. Crimson Tide fans, love to hear from you. How many of you are willing to man up or person up and say, I thought we were done. Thought we were done. And then when it got rolling, so to speak, back on the bandwagon. A couple of things. And a couple of things really don't matter. Of course, John Dent, he's up and early at it again. Thank you for watching. Let's see. This is from Ty. He says, Barry, I was reading comments on Bleacher Report and Bammers were ready for DeBoer to go in the first half. It was a little bit over the top. It really was. I mean, some of the fans out there, some of it's really simplistic. You know, I don't necessarily agree with Ty, Ty's just reporting. He's not issuing an opinion. He's a sideline reporter was talking about Mateer, saying he should have been on the Heisman stage if he hadn't gotten injured. I think he put too much stock in himself. He is good, but not great. I do agree with all that. I don't think it had anything to do with the game. I mean, whether or not he was in the Heisman race. I just think his quarterback, not great. Lots more still to get to on the show today. Recapping the Bama game, talking about the college playoff, talking about the group of 5 in the college football playoff. Didn't love what I was hearing from a lot of people about that. Still to come. When we return, Warren Matthews will join us. It is our Monday show. John is off. We are on the air, at least last I heard, today, tomorrow, and Friday. We're off on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, but we are glad you're with us. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Man, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light! Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here! Oh, Bud Light there! I missed that because of you! You did not miss that play because of me! Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah! It's actually kind of fun. Hey,
I got your Bud Light.
Oh, nice. Never mind! Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
What'd I miss?
I have no idea.
You can be a winner too with Victoryland Casino's 8 days of giveaways. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right, Victoryland Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Come play the latest and greatest games featuring exciting bonuses and huge jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Victoryland Casino. Off I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Welcome back in. It is our Monday show. John Longshore is off. You can conjecture as to the reason why after a big Saints win yesterday. Warren Matthews is here with us. Good to see you, Warren. How you doing?
Very, very great to see you. I apologize for the delay. I have been on the phone with a client who's having some issues with the New Orleans Police Department. Seems like there was an incident following the Saints game yesterday down on Bourbon Street, where I will not say, attorney-client privilege will not allow me to say who it is, but let's just say we've been working on a few things, and hopefully by morning he will. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say whether it's a he or she. That
this
the
person
client will be free to leave the jurisdiction and will be going back to their home destination. So hopefully all things are good. It happened at a Lucky Dog stand, and it just sometimes people become overserved. So
yeah.
It is. Especially with the big Saints victory.
Yes.
Yes. Doesn't happen very often.
My experience, Warren, is that one lucky dog you're overserved, but who knows? Yeah, not saying anything, but hopefully back in good graces tomorrow is this person that we're talking about.
Person of interest.
Person of interest is currently held for questioning, I guess. I don't know. Your thoughts? Again, confession's good for the soul. You can confess if it indeed was the case. 20 minutes into that Alabama game, you were done. You were out. You were frustrated. You said there's no way, right?
So Barry, here's the setting.
Okay.
My dear cousin is getting married this weekend, and we are hosting a post-toast, so not even the rehearsal dinner, but a party after the rehearsal dinner.
All right.
At a very fine establishment in downtown Montgomery.
Okay.
And so the party starts at 8:00. And the question is this fine restaurant going to have a TV? Because everybody there is an Alabama graduate. And so until I walked in the doors at 7:45, when the hosts were supposed to be there for an 8:00 party, I didn't know. We had Mrs. Gurn and I had watched the first 45 minutes at Dreamland, and then came over. And so, it starts off, you're watching the game. There's probably 20 folks before the other party lets out. So you're just, hey, how you doing? I'm Warren, nice to meet you. How are you, Ken? What's the family connection? All this kind of stuff. So it's a group of people from Clark County and a bunch of people from Ozark, where we're from, and a bunch of people from Montgomery. And everybody's just kind of happy because it's Alabama and they're relieved there's a TV. And I'm standing next to a man, and I've told my son this, and anybody who will listen, he is the angriest human being I've ever been around in my life.
Just angry all the time.
About Alabama. I mean, they could be up 42-0, and this guy is he's just one of those fans.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody knows
45-0. I still don't think we're running the football like we should be.
By God, Bear Bryant wouldn't have never done that. Nick Saban now, it's just one of these things.
I'm familiar with the type.
He's got to go. It's, these are people who live in Mecca. They live in Tuscaloosa. This guy lives in Tuscaloosa, lives at Daly. So we're in at 17-0, and I think he's about to go jump off the roof. No. I mean, he is having and his poor wife, lovely person. She knows the rest of her night and day, weekend, year is going to be bad.
Okay.
And so we're sitting there, and you're into your second beer, and you're kind of like, this is bad, and then this party's going to let loose, and everybody's going to come in, and everybody's going to be mad. And then all of a sudden, things changed.
Flipped.
And this guy becomes, we're high-fiving, we're hugging. I mean, it's like random people. So it's how you watch a game too. I mean, I like to watch it in the confines of my house. I like it with my people. I don't like to have any naysayers in there. I'll send people to the other part of the house if they get negative. So it was, it was bad, but then it was just great because it kept being great. And you never, after halftime, you really did not feel like it was going to go the wrong way.
That's right. Yes.
Didn't feel. Now it easily could have gone the wrong way.
Yes.
But you didn't feel it. After all the angst that everybody's had for so long, I was like, oh, it's okay now. Everything, this is where we're supposed to be. And it's the fallacy of the Alabama fan. It is like, Barry, I mean, what is it about fandom? I mean, you're not a fan. You can't be a fan. You are a fan, but you can't have to be straight up.
Right. Yeah.
These people are cray-cray. I mean, it's just Auburn, Alabama, whomever. I mean,
that type, the one you're talking about, who's angry about everything, nothing is ever good enough, that is not indigenous just to the Alabama fan base. I know people like that in every fan base out there. You got to kick him out so you can start happy hour, that kind of a guy. I'd love to know your thoughts about how that happened. I mean, what flipped? What, momentum's a big thing. I think it was very, even with the pick six right before halftime to tie it up going, that was huge, obviously. But you could kind of start seeing the saddle slipping beforehand, right?
I think we win the game without the pick six. I think it's just one of those you just felt like it was going to. Now, it had been a much more difficult game, and he probably would have played it a different way. You just felt it, and it was, I don't know why it felt different. And it was so bad for so many quarters. I mean, obviously Atlanta was just awful. I mean, that's just like the worst thing anybody can go through. Auburn was painful. I mean, it was just painful. Even though it was okay, it was painful. So, yeah, it was, you can say all this stuff about you can't be a team 3 times. Oklahoma is just an okay team. I mean, they really are just an okay team. Their offense really stinks for the most of the year, and their defense was good. And so defenses, you can expose defenses at some point. We all know that.
Right.
So, it's crazy. And then, all right, Barry, this is what's so crazy about that game.
Okay.
They've got the best kicker in the country.
Oh, that point.
I mean, he is the best. So everybody in their mind, they're going, okay, we know. All right, everybody's starting to, all these people who couldn't pass algebra in high school, or they're doing math. Okay, hey, all right, what's it going to be? All right, we're going to have here, and we're going to score here, or we're not. All right, they're definitely going to get that 3, and now it's going to make it that, and then all of a sudden, I guess he misses the kick.
He misses.
I guess he misses the kick.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you he missed the kick.
Yeah.
The people standing under the goal said he missed the kick.
It looked.
Yeah,
could have gone either way. But that kid, Tate Sandell, he missed 1 field goal all year. And even the telecasters were saying, all right, now they're in position. This kick will give them, will get them into whatever it was, 1 score or whatever, give them a chance. 36-yarder, and they said it was no good. And I'm thinking it shouldn't have even been close. It wasn't a great snap. And then the 51-yarder at the end. He missed 2 field goals in the second half. He didn't miss 2 field goals all year long. He kind of figured that, I don't know, Coach Bryant up in heaven was blowing it a little bit towards the outside of the goalpost as well. It was fate. It was kismet.
I'd like to hear from somebody who was at the game. I mean, because Alabama, I guess there are a few thousand Alabama. If there couldn't have been a lot of Alabama fans there. Didn't get a lot of tickets, and it was a long way, short turnaround, all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
everybody figured we're going to lose, so it's really only the official contingent that went.
Right.
How quiet was that stadium? I mean, when at certain times. I mean, it looked like it was, because it was electric. I mean, to begin, it was. They were on fire.
Yep. So now Alabama gets out of there, feels good about themselves. The holidays, you got to give them time off. You got a little time before they play a week from Thursday in the Rose Bowl against Indiana. Early thoughts about that. I like Indiana. They could be ripe for a letdown. Goodness knows they haven't let down all year long. I like Indiana in that one. If the Crimson Tide gets through there, I'll be really impressed.
They're solid, but I'll tell you, the Alabama fan base has already made their hotel reservation for Atlanta.
That was my next question.
Once that game ended, they went on Hilton.com or whatever it is, Marriott Bonvoy. They have now locked their rooms down for the date in Atlanta. I mean, it's one of those things. And then probably the other half have got the Miami, their Miami flights booked down, and because you can drive to Atlanta, but I don't know.
You got to fly to Miami.
Have you ever been to the Rose Bowl?
I have. Okay.
I
covered the Auburn game when they lost to Florida State at the last minute in 2014. I was there.
It is truly, it's top 5 places to watch a sporting event. I mean, I've
heard so many people say, "Oh, it's past its prime. It's a dump." Man, I didn't see it. I thought it was awesome.
It is a dump because you went in officially. You didn't have to deal with everything else. It is a dump, and the setup logistics are horrible. But there is no better place in the mountain range, the setting, the ambiance. It is fantastic, and so I bet people will go. I guess the question I haven't seen. What kind of tickets I assume Alabama's is the away team. What kind of tickets will you get? Is it a split? Well, I mean, I can't imagine it'd be a split, but
it isn't going to be 50-50 because so many of the tickets are going to go to, extraneous people who, all that. But it should be 50-50 among the fan bases out there. But Alabama's going to travel better. They're going to have the opportunity to travel better to Indiana. Indiana they've been to the Rose Bowl before. It was many, many, many years ago. They ain't never played in a game this big. But Alabama has dozens and dozens of times. I wonder if that's going to be an advantage. Even though the players, they haven't played in this in a few years. Boy, Indiana's going to have stars in their eyes. If the moment is just too much for Indiana, I kind of get it. I would not be a shocker to me at all. But in terms of pure football, boy, Curt Cignetti's built something special up there.
So Barry, let me ask you this: what's the mentality of the Bama fan now? Where are we? Where are we on 0 to 10? Where are we on the giddy factor versus?
Here's the thing: what I think, and I'm probably wrong. I don't discount that. As much as Bama fan can be satisfied, I think they're satisfied. I don't think that they felt all year long that this was a national championship caliber team. I know John never did. He said that from the beginning. I think they're thinking, well, we got our win in the college football playoff. You know, if we lose to the number 1 seed, that's a pretty good year. I know many of them are all about national championship, or, you know, the whole season was a waste of time. But I think a lot of them would be like, hey, all right, we did win a game. You know, that's about what I expected for this team. We lose to the number 1 team in the country. I can live with that and look ahead to better things. I just think, you know, as much as a Bama fan can be satisfied with anything other than the Crystal Trophy, I think they'd be satisfied with this year.
From my own perspective, that's kind of, Barry, you hit it. You hit the psyche. It's like, I went to college there. I did not grow up per se just that fan.
Yeah.
I don't live and die with it. I kind of partially do. It makes Sunday good or bad. And you know, does it hurt me if Auburn loses? No. Do I'm giddy? No. I mean, I'm not one of those, but I'm just saying it is. And I'm probably more one of the realistic people. You know, there are a lot of unrealistic Bama fans.
Yes,
you may know that. You
You
may see that on the chat line and on your callers from past days.
I have seen.
But you know, it is okay, you know, but then everybody starts looking for what about next year? And then you know, how do you build a roster and all that kind of thing?
Right. So, yeah. A loss to Indiana, I think Bama fans would be, by and large, okay with it. But, I mean, they win that game. Like you said, you know, head to Atlanta for very likely a rematch with who would it be with? Who would the winner? It would be Georgia. No, it wouldn't be Georgia. I'm not even sure. I have to look.
You know, that's the funny thing. I bet the true Bama fan, the first thing they didn't look at the Rose Bowl. They looked at the next round because they felt so damn confident that the next one's going to be a victory because it's Indiana. Oh my God, Indiana!
Yeah.
How could Indiana beat us?
Well,
you know?
When we come back, lots more talk about the Crimson Tide and what's ahead of them in the college football playoff. But elsewhere, the college football playoff and the group of 5. Hearing a lot of back chat from people about how the group of 5 needs to, including Nick Saban. He's lost, I think, 5 games in his career to group of 5 teams when he's been at LSU and Alabama. But all of a sudden now he doesn't believe in inclusion. We'll talk about that when we return. And Warren Matthews for John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet.
The dreams that matter most happen while we're awake, because they're the ones that remind us of the places we want to go, of the ideas we plan to pursue, of the legacies we hope to leave. We understand you have goals to meet, and we want to help you reach them, to fuel your vision and invest in whatever motivates you. So we want to know, what inspires you? Synovus Bank, member FDIC.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, Instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Already getting a few comments about this. Yep. Wearing it with pride. Jacksonville Jaguars go into Denver and break the Broncos' 11-game winning streak. Trevor Lawrence in the last 2 games, Jaguars quarterback, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Jags, holy smokes, they got their longest winning streak since like 1999 or something like that. They beat the Broncos pretty badly yesterday. It was outstanding. They're now 11-4, and they lead the division by a game. Not that I'm, going to spend the whole time talking about it, but it's pretty good day yesterday in the McKnight household.
Well, let me ask you this, Barry. When they hired Liam Cohen,
yes,
what did you? I mean, I don't know that much about him, but what I had heard, he's a dude. I mean, he's like a dude. I mean, he's like one of those guys. Unlike the 20 coaches that have gone through the Titans in Arizona and everywhere, the names of these offensive coordinators who may or may not make it. He had something. It was an edge. It was something about him that really, resonated.
What it was is I think they came to a total realization, and it didn't work with Doug Peterson. They had made this realization a while back. The franchise is not going to be what it needs to be unless somebody figures out Trevor.
Yeah.
You've got to work with Trevor. If he's not playing to his best of ability, this whole franchise has no chance. Liam Cohen is a quarterback guru, a quarterback whisperer, and whatever he's done to Trevor has done really, really well. They're doing all this without the number 1 draft pick, Travis Hunter, who's been hurt. So, it's all about the quarterback. I'll never forget reading a book by Vince Lombardi. Football is the ultimate team game except for one facet, and that is an over-reliance on the quarterback. So, according to some of the stuff we've gotten on the chat line, and we really like it, everything from Luke Robinson, aka Lou Rob, was with a group of Bammers at the game and said Oklahoma fans were pretty nice, but the concessions are in dire need of an upgrade.
That means you can't get a $16 White Claw in Norman. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's the
how high were his standards? You can get, I guess, something, but everything from that. We also hear what was the one earlier? From Tobias. He says, "Hey, Alabama fans, it is okay to say Kalen DeBoer has done a good job this season." I saw probably more than anything else the national writers talking about the game itself were more of a tone like, "Hey, people, forget Michigan, forget all this stuff. Kalen DeBoer is the guy you need to ride and die with." He's done a good job. He hasn't been perfect. The team isn't perfect. But Kalen DeBoer, I think, cemented his place with Bama fans just getting to this point, right? Anybody who gripes about him now is just unhappy.
We could play the next game, it ends, and he could give him the middle finger the next day and be – I think if you're an Alabama fan and you like your coach, you hope they find Biff. They name Biff Poggi, like the head coach for the next 2 years, which is what it'll be.
Yeah.
Before they get mad, and otherwise it's still going to be out there. I mean.
Yeah, they Arizona State has signed Kenny Dillingham to a contract extension. He's out. And I just see Michigan maybe pushing all their chips to the middle, but I'm telling you, Bama fans, he's your guy. You need to do whatever it takes.
So, Barry, I see on the chat line, Cane Lake 34. How about my Miami Hurricanes? That was absolutely one of the worst football games I've ever seen.
It was, I didn't, for a while there, I didn't think anybody could win that game.
It was so hard. So, as the parent of a former college football player where you're watching games, my son was a nose guard. So, rarely, unless he got a penalty, are you going to notice anything he does. He's just plugging a gap. That's right. What he does.
Holding his ground.
All right. But the parents of the quarterbacks and the skill players, be it the punter, kicker, holder, snapper, those people they deserve God's blessings, because I cannot imagine what it would be like. And all I could think of was, who are Carter Davis's parents and what are they going through now after their son missed yet another field goal? And it just kept getting worse and worse. And it's like, it's terrible. They show the camera goes straight to the guy on the sidelines. He's got heads down, or the weight of the helmet is already down walking off the field.
Yeah.
And then he gets over the sideline and it's like the head, the chin is on the chest. And you're like, there's no way in hell this guy's going to ever make a field goal.
This is the worst. Yeah. It was, the tone of that game was who just happens to be in the lead when the thing. I was shocked that A&M couldn't score. I mean, that's the classic laying of the egg. John has always said Texas A&M, one of the most overrated programs out there. I didn't think Miami won it as much as Texas A&M lost it.
They absolutely did. They laid the egg.
Yeah, there was that. This we like to add a tone of culture and intelligence to the program. Hence, why we have Warren Matthews on right now, proud son of Ozark. Can we add to it here? Can we add to the tone and the highbrow of this by going back down to Ozark? My buddy Les Perrault, one of the great men I know, he says, Barry and Warren, what are y'all's thoughts on the group of 5 teams having their own championship series with the way Tulane and JMU performed Saturday in the college football playoff?
So Barry, Les Perrault's one of the greatest human beings I know.
Me too.
I've known him. We graduated. We went through junior high and high school together.
Yeah.
And so when I moved our family down to Greenville, he was starting to do the play-by-play for the Carroll High School Eagles. Now he played, I never played it down, but he knew I would do it. So they wouldn't let us do home games. So I would go with him to away games.
Right.
And so we did that for 2 seasons and had a blast. But we had, as an announcer, I have to tell you this story, because you've done this for 40 plus years, and you probably have never had this happen to you before. But my man Les is not known for spending a lot of money. So he decided he was going to ride with
pot, kettle black. Okay. All right. Yeah.
He was going to ride in the bus with the First Methodist Church youth group to the game that we were having at Wetumpka High School.
Sure. Okay.
So I drive up from Greenville. He comes up in the bus. They stop at Wendy's, I think, in Troy to get a burger, and the bus is late. And he's got all our radio
equipment. Yeah.
Okay. And I see him running up. I mean, he is running, and they're kicking off, which is
I've had nightmares about that.
Okay. Except
all broadcasters have nightmares about it. You wake up in a cold sweat.
Well,
the game has started. I'm not there.
It gets worse. Carroll High runs the kickoff back for a touchdown. And the look on his face, I mean, it was sheer terror. He's like, and I look at him and I'm like, not a problem. Come on, let's set up. We're setting up.
I'm feeling for you, Les.
He set up, and I said, here we are from whatever field here at Wetumpka High School. We're about to kick it off. And I said, all right, there's the kickoff. He takes it. He's at 5. He's at the 10. He's at the 20. Oh, he may go all the way. He's going to go all the way. And you know what? Nobody ever knew. Nobody knew.
There you go.
1920s. I mean, the old performances. So that's my man, Les.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we're off topic. But
salt of the earth.
Anyway, here, look, let me ask you this.
All right.
Would you rather have played in the bowl game in Montgomery or played in the first round of a playoff?
I would rather have played in the playoff.
Yeah. So, I mean, Absolutely. That creates interest.
Yeah.
And you can probably even get it down to the semis and the finals and have that be bowl games. I mean, but you probably wouldn't. You want to have a home crowd. I mean, you want a crowd. It's hard to travel.
Right.
But to me, it just means more, right?
Well, it does, but again, it separates them out. I agree with what Jason Jones had said earlier last week. There are Power 4 programs. There are two things that are fundamentally wrong with what Saban said and what Tom Luganbill said on this show a week ago. And Tom, he's done Group of 5 games all over the place. Number one, there are Group of 5 programs right now, and James Madison is one of them, that are better than at least 15 or 20 of the Power 4 programs right now. James
absolutely.
Madison is a better football program than Wake Forest.
Oh, absolutely.
James Madison is a better football program than
they're better Mississippi State.
Yeah, I mean, not just
Mississippi State,
not just football. I'm talking about fan support, facilities. Money. Got a ton of money out there. How do you get the hangers-on out and give the teams, I wouldn't want to have my upward mobility limited by an artificial thing. Troy can be this, but they can go as far in this particular thing, but they can't go, all the top. Florida State would have never been a Power 4 team in that regard. And number two, what this playoff looks like with two Group of 5 teams is exactly down the line what everybody on the College Football Playoff Committee agreed to 2 years ago. It has worked. The Tulane team, the championship they won, they were higher ranked than the ACC champion. That's what the letter of the law says. James Madison was a higher ranked champion than the ACC champion was. Now, it ain't going to happen again. The ACC has made changes. They're never going to, they realize they screwed it up with the way they did their championship game. That ain't going to happen again. And Notre Dame is not going to be left out if they're a top 12 ranked program. So what you saw this year is not going to happen again, but it followed the letter of the law of everything that the College Football Playoff said that they were going to do. It just happened that way. You're never going to get two Group of 5 teams in again. So why should you have to legislate the entire Group of 5 out just because of 1 year that you don't like the results? That's my thought.
I know you're a John Sumrall fan, but I mean, it is a little unfortunate for Tulane. This is their shot, and their coach is gone. Is whether he's there or not, he's mentally gone. He's gone. He's better be gone. I mean, they're paying him a lot of money. He's physically there, but he's not 100% invested in this game.
And that's the way it is. And that's the way it feels on the other sideline too. I mean, it's just college football is screwed up right now. Yeah. It is. Ole Miss was playing without their head coach. They had a guy coaching in his very first game as a head coach ever. And he's coaching in the college football playoff. They were markedly better than the team they were playing, and they should have won. But, I mean, this is happening up and down, and that part needs to change. The JMU coach, that's a good point from Bill from
JMU
Baltimore.
Coach.
Bob Chesney, God bless him. He's a great coach. He's got a good program. He's spending some of his time talking about UCLA, flying across country for press conferences, talking with recruits. there was a big stink at Ohio State, who hasn't played yet, because one of their commitments for the upcoming year just posted on social media, blessed to have gotten an offer from the University of South Florida, where their offensive coordinator is going to be the new head coach. And the Ohio State fans are saying, wait a minute. Our offensive coordinator is giving our commits offers from other schools while he's getting it screwed up. The whole process is screwed up. And yeah, Summerall, bless his heart. Gosh, I felt so bad for him because I knew his dad. His dad passed away over the weekend.
He had all kinds.
That's just tough. But your point is well made. There was a great article. I can't remember who it was from, but they were talking about his days these days. He's talking with Florida recruits. He's hiring a staff at Florida. He's spending some time there. He's working 18, 20-hour days right now because he was giving Tulane everything he had. That's difficult to do. But again, they're not the only school in the postseason that's having to deal with that. They're not the only school in the college football playoff that's having to deal with that. Something has got to change. Well, I am against a group of 5 playoff just because I think it's overreaction. What happened this year is never going to happen again. So you don't need to blow up the entire setup just to make sure you don't have to watch a team that you deem unworthy. And I thought James Madison was really competitive in their game after, they're not as good as Oregon. Very few teams are. There are Power 4 teams that would have lost by that score.
Barry, one thing will make it happen. If somebody with money says it needs to happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's not like everybody talking about it on the paper because it might be the right thing to do or whatever. Does ESPN, probably ESPN or Turner now, does Turner say, I'm going to give you $1 billion and we're going to have this thing?
Yes. That's true. That is true. If somebody pays for it, there are college chancellors and college presidents and athletic directors who will sign off on it, because there is very little chance that James Madison or Tulane ever wins a national championship. They're in it. They're fighting hard for it, just like everybody else. But a chance to win a lower championship, I don't know. I watched a little bit of that Montana State game from Montana State over the weekend. That place was lit. Oh my gosh. It was freezing cold. I'd have never been there in a million years, but good gracious. That's all they want. They're not in a position to join even the group of 5. And there's power in that. The only way it does happen is if somebody decides to pay for it. Warren, you're exactly right.
Well, all right, Barry. I would disagree with you until this year, because do you believe Vanderbilt was a legitimate playoff team? In the realm, it was within the top 20 teams that could have made the playoffs of 12.
I do.
They had a resume. Okay.
I do.
What did they? All right. Has Vanderbilt perennially sucked in football?
Oh, okay. Yes.
All right. So that's your 2 premises.
Yeah.
What did they do? They went out and they bought the right kind of players for a short-term basis.
Yes.
To be competitive and win. If, say, there's a big donor at Tulane, there's no reason Tulane or another group of 5 donor who's a billionaire couldn't do the same thing. That's where you could absolutely see a powerhouse team come out of the group of 5, be undefeated by a lot. If they were if they had the roster, an Ole Miss roster, say they had an Ole Miss roster, and they go through the group of 5, it's not inconceivable they could go a long way in the playoffs. But it takes that. It takes that.
Money.
You can't just do it based on good coaching and recruiting and decent facility. You just can't do it.
Somebody is going to have to spend a lot of money without any chance of ever making it back just to see their school in that position.
It's what's happening with Texas Tech. It's the Texas Tech model.
Yep, no doubt.
Texas Tech model.
Without
they did it in softball. Okay. They went out and bought the best pitcher and they made it to the finals. I mean, that's
true.
What you do.
Yeah.
Texas Tech is in Lubbock, frickin' Texas. There
Good
is
luck
nothing
getting
in Lubbock,
high-profile
Texas.
recruits to commit to spending. Yeah.
Lubbock is the Starkville of Texas. Okay.
Tommy Tuberville said Lubbock, and Tommy coached there. Tommy Tuberville said Lubbock is like Iraq. Not wrong. Not wrong. Well, we got to take a break. Warren Matthews is here with us. We're at the top of the hour. Great stuff. John Dent asking this question: what was the score of that game? It was actually, and I realize the game was pretty much over when James Madison made their run. Oregon won at 51-34. That's a 17-point difference. And JMU covered the 21, just in case anybody cares to notice. Stand by, more to come. By the way, earlier I mentioned this week my executive producer, aka my wife, points out that I said we're off on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. No, we're off on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We only have 3 days this week. Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
This is the famous Budweiser beer, brewed with the choicest ingredients since 1876. 139 holidays strong, decking the halls in an 8-horse open sleigh, aged over beechwood for a crisp, smooth finish. Anyone can jingle all the way. Only Budweiser can macro all the way. Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
There we go. Longshore and McKnight. I'm Barry McKnight. John is out today. Tomorrow is his birthday, and he's probably trying to get ready for that. Lots of different things on our docket today, mostly the college football playoff and the bowl games that are out there. Again, the second round, the quarterfinal round, has been set in the college football playoff. And it's not this week. This week, you're getting a steady diet of, today, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl at 1 o'clock this afternoon in Boise, Washington State and Utah State. 3 games tomorrow, Boca Raton, New Orleans, and Frisco. 1 game Wednesday, nothing on Thursday. Basically, that's to get out of the way of the NFL, which is why you still don't have any games in the college football playoff this weekend. It's an odd time on the college football schedule. Everything is odd in the college football schedule now because the transfer portal does not open up until January the 2nd. But people are getting out and getting in the transfer portal or announcing their intent to get into the transfer portal right now. We had a text earlier.
Barry, you get those notices like I do, or you see it on ESPN.com or whatever on the football piece of that. I kind of play a game. Do I know who they are? are they somebody that, was somebody but didn't cut it? Or is it somebody that's going from a smaller school and it makes some news? They've been there 3 years and they're going to cash in on their fourth, that kind of thing.
There are three basic reasons why people enter the transfer portal nowadays. Number one is money. You've got some really good players on some pretty good teams that are entering into the transfer portal. Sam Levitt from Arizona State, really good quarterback. He's entering into the transfer portal. He's playing at Arizona State. His coach ain't leaving or anything like that. Dillingham's still there. He just wants more money. There are other guys in the same deal that just, I guess I can't argue with them. Power 4 guys getting into the transfer portal, even though, they're playing a lot and all that, because they're testing their market value, right? Seeing what the market holds. If they're making it's the Carson Beck syndrome. I've won 2 national championships at Georgia. Am I getting everything I can? Let me put myself on the market, and the market is what people are willing to pay you.
Well,
so there is that.
There's going to be a whole interesting layer of this when Alabama quits playing, whenever that is, be it January 1st or the 8th or 9th or whenever it is who's going into the portal? Who's renegotiating their contract? Do you have a Ryan Williams go into the portal?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm Ryan Williams, if I'm Alabama, I don't know the deal they signed with Ryan Williams, whatever it was, $1 or $2 million a year.
Yes.
All right. Do you have the ability to say, look, we got to allocate this money. You're not a $2 million guy. Lozier Brooks is a $2 million guy. And he may be a $2 million guy somewhere else. Justin Mbakwe is not panned out either at DB or at wide receiver. Does he go somewhere and try and make some money? Because I can't imagine he's going to garner more than just a little bit, whatever a normal receiver would make at Alabama. So, people who are kind of high profile, I don't know. I mean,
that's the other aspect of it. People will go for more money. And I guess there's nothing wrong with that. Test your market value. Some schools will say, when the guy goes out and says, all right, what am I bid? What am I bid? And he's not bid very much, and he wants to come back to that school's like, sorry, man, you don't have your spot open anymore. Ryan Williams is going to be a test case in that, because technically your NIL deal with your school is not supposed to be based on performance.
Okay.
Can they say, look, Ryan, you got to choose elsewhere because you're, like you said, you're not a $2 million player. Well, the contract isn't void just because he hasn't been very good this year. They can pay him what they want, but that can go down. It's the fact for him that he is never going to make what he wants to make when he is basically targeted 2 or 3 times a game. Not playing enough. So he's got to go somewhere else. There's so many good players at good teams that are getting into the transfer portal again and again, just simply to try to find the right spot where they can play and they can make a lot of money. There are some people like TJ Finley. People, give him a hard time because he's trying for an extra year of eligibility, and he's going into the transfer portal. It would be his 6th school. He's not looking to go to the NFL right now necessarily. He knows he's not an NFL player. He's going to try to make as much as he can in college because it's very rare the prospects that he's going to make that much money doing anything else once he gets through with college. It's a messed up thing.
Well, I think you look at Alabama and you look at the quarterback room.
Yes.
They've got 3 really good quarterbacks. Okay. If your number 1 quarterback stays and doesn't go to the NFL, then that leaves 2 guys just doing the same thing they did this year.
Right.
And your OC's going to Michigan State. Maybe if I'm Austin Mack, I'm going to go to Michigan State where I got my OC and I can start and probably do well in the Big Ten.
Yes.
And then you got the heir apparent superstar, freshman who pushes and maybe sits another year if for some reason Ty Simpson stays. So I think if Ty Simpson has a decent game in Pasadena, he's probably going to be a first round number.
Totally.
And I don't know how you don't do that. If you've got if you're going in the first round, you got to go.
Yeah. Oh, there's no question. That's life-changing money for you, your family, your kids' families, and all of that. No problem there whatsoever. But if you're Keelan Russell, another year of getting older, of not playing very much, if Simpson stays, when the thing that nobody really talks enough about is the tampering. Tampering, I've changed my stance on tampering. It's wrong. You shouldn't do it. There are rules against it, but there are easy ways around it. Tampering's always going to be with us. There is no question in my mind that for somebody like Keelan Russell, he's got somebody in his ear saying, look, if Simpson doesn't go to the NFL and he sticks around, man, I hear from this school and from this school and this school that they will pay you X million and you can start right now. If you just go, that's happening. That's happening right now. And not just with him. The tampering is never going to go away. That's always going to be a thing. You may not like to accept it, but that's always going to be a part of it. On the other side of things, you've got quarterbacks, for instance, they're the most high profile, high dollar figure guys out there that are, like you said, following their offensive coordinator. If a guy goes to Michigan State, what is the current Michigan State quarterback? Well, he's going in the transfer portal. Auburn has a new football coach. His quarterback down where he came from has got one more year of eligibility, and he's really good. He will be at Auburn next year. That is why Ashton Daniels is in the transfer portal. If you didn't think, if you had any question about whether is it Byram Brown, Byram with an M, Byram Brown, yes, and he's a dude, he's a player, he can play. I don't know that he'll ever be an NFL starting quarterback. He could be a journeyman in the NFL because he's durable and he does enough right. And he could play for the Ravens as a backup. I mean, believe me, they that kind of thing. Yeah. But he was in street clothes for South Florida in their little bowl game for a reason. Look, there's a reason Stanford ran Ashton Daniels, and then there's a reason he didn't start at Auburn, even though, the other guy sucked ahead of him. But then he got his opportunity and he did okay. And then he did well. So you can't be sad for Ashton Daniels because he got a chance and he is now going to be able to bank at least one more year somewhere, maybe like a Georgia Tech or I'm just saying somewhere like that likes something. That he can play and, get the full experience. But the reason why he had assured everybody after he played so well down the stretch for Auburn and the coaching change, obviously it had been made. That's the reason why he was able to play for Auburn was because the coaching change was made. And he said, I'm looking forward to coming back. I'm going to be back. Don't worry about me. Then all of a sudden he enters the transfer portal and his Instagram post says, I know I told the Auburn family that I was going to be there, but things did not go the way I thought they should. Meaning, so I will not be returning to this wonderful school and all this. He wanted to stay, but things didn't turn out the way he thought they should. You know what that means? That means Alice Golders told him, son, God bless you. We'll help you however we can. But Byram Brown's going to be our quarterback next year, right? So tell me this, Barry. Does he play somewhere else? I mean, I know he'll go somewhere else. You think he plays? He'll play somewhere. It depends on him. He will play. Be a starter somewhere? I don't know why he went to Auburn in the first place, to be honest, because they had invested so much in Jackson Arnold. I thought he never was going to play, if for no other reason, and they were paying Jackson Arnold so much. So he'll go somewhere where he can play. He may go group of 5 just to get a chance to play. He's got a Stanford degree. He's going to be all right after school and everything like that. What I wonder about is somebody like Deuce Knight. That kid looked ready to play to me. I know it was against whoever it was, Mercer, but that kid showed something. And now all of a sudden, Ashton Daniels is out because they're bringing in this new quarterback to play for 1 year. It's the same thing we were talking about with Keelan Russell. 1 more year older, 1 more year waiting around when you can be playing somewhere. I think the same reason why Ashton Daniels is getting out of Auburn is the same reason why somebody like Deuce Knight has to be thinking this.
Deuce is not. I really don't think Deuce is going anywhere because Deuce is about to get paid.
That needs to happen. That needs to happen.
Deuce. So when he came from USF to Auburn, his number one recruiting job was to keep Deuce Knight. He had to go do what they had to go do, whatever it was to get Deuce Knight. And so they locked him down. They've locked him down financially. I'd be shocked if he goes anywhere else. Okay? We'll see. But
somebody else may pay him more.
They may, but he's established. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You just never know. But it's just like DeBoer. His number one. What was his number one recruiting job? Was get Ryan Williams. Well, that. We know how that all has played out, and maybe it'll turn out better than it looks. But the watch party I was at Friday night,
right?
Barry, and it's interesting to hear what random Alabama fans of all ages. We had people there from 26 to 76, and they were all kinds, and they were giddy when Ryan was not on the field. They were saying things like that. And that's crazy because he is a damn good player, but they were saying it.
This is what happens. This is my theory. And Ryan Williams, $2 million. He was a freshman All-American last year, won the Georgia game by himself as a true freshman. He was only 17.
Imagine that. He's only 18 now.
He leads the nation in drops. Nobody has dropped more balls this year than Ryan Williams. Part of that equation is they threw the ball to him a lot.
That's right.
They threw it to him enough for him to drop a lot. But on the other side of things, he has got so much development he needs to do. And I think you'll see this where a kid comes in, he's thinking, I'm making more than my position coach is. I'm making more than all of my professors and all of my classes combined and doubled. I've arrived. Look at me. I'm driving a Lamborghini. I'm making all this money. I'm getting all of this social media presence. I have arrived when he had not done squat. You got to get better, son. You have got to work. You have got to hone your craft. You've got to get mentally tough to catch more balls, more contested balls. He's having a hard enough time catching passes with somebody not around him. You have not arrived at 17 years of age. You have got a lot of work still to do. And I think somehow, he has forgotten about that.
So, Barry, I have to relate another story. The angry old man told me the other night because I'd forgotten it and I've now remembered it. He points, he gets his finger up into the camera like this.
Yeah.
He goes, you see that number 74? He's the only player on Alabama's team that they haven't had to wash his jersey all year because he hadn't had a grass stain. I'm like, I said, he goes, and he's an All-American. He's not even decent enough to be best in the SEC. So anyway, it's tough out there. The fans are turning on the folks that are making the big change. So.
And it's difficult for the fans. If somebody has a bad game early, and it happens, if somebody has a bad game early, maybe Bama fans, as much as anybody I've ever seen, they won't forgive him. He could be terrible against Florida State, and there were a lot of people that were terrible against Florida State, and they still won't trust him. Even, I don't care if he lights it up for the next several games. He's still that guy who cost us the Georgia game, or, we would have won the Iron Bowl that year if we hadn't started Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl MVP, and they're still like, we screwed that up real bad. We should have started Tua.
It's all about where you play. The position is important. I'll give you, for example, Wilkins Formby, number 75.
Yes.
Last year, Wilkins Formby is out on the right side, right tackle, and he's not even touching people, and they're coming by. You move him to guard, and he's had a solid year, and nobody hears about Wilkins Formby. So, he's not getting quite the hate.
Because he's not a tackle, He's
not a tackle.
He's a guard. He's not quick enough. He's not long enough to be a tackle. To me, the biggest upset, John keeps talking all the time about Cam Newton winning the Heisman Trophy, but some male tennis player from Tennessee won the SEC Male Athlete of the Year award. Why did they give it to Cam? How in the world, and I want to get loose on this if I don't, how in the world was Caden Proctor named the Jacobs Award winner for the best blocker in the SEC this year? How in the world? Who in the world votes on that?
Well, people who don't watch games.
He's not bad. I'm not saying
he's
terrible.
Not bad. He's a good player. He's athletic. He caught a pass.
He's going to make a lot of money in the next level, but the best in the SEC after what I saw this year, I don't know. So, all of that is subjective. You have a bad game, people won't forget it. You have a great game, and people will still say, golly, he was so good against Georgia. He won that game for us. I say, let's give him another try when he's got 18 drops this year. 18. There are guys on the Alabama team who don't get 18 balls thrown to them in a year. And this guy, anyway, don't get me started. Lots more still to get to. No Phantom's daily dog today. He's going to take a little while. I hope he doesn't cool down because it's been good. We'll have a lot more still to come as we roll on this Monday show. Barry McKnight, Warren Matthews. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite's has done it again. Famous for their $99 Christmas special, and Lyle has come up with the best I have ever seen. Half-carat stud diamonds, $99. That's right. Half-carat stud diamonds, just $99. But there's a limit of 3. So you need to hurry out to Marguerite's in Pepper Tree on Vaughn Road, adjacent to Chappie's Deli. Marguerite's, of course, is open extended days and hours during the Christmas holiday shopping season. So make sure to take advantage of this year's incredible Christmas $99 special. Half-carat diamond studs, just $99 from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. They make it. They really make it at Marguerite's.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
It is Longshore and McKnight. John is off today, probably still basking in the afterglow of the Saints win that he took in yesterday with family over the Jets at the Superdome. There have been hints of, well, I'm not even going to say it. I just hope he gets bailed out. I hope he gets back today quickly and safely.
I hope he gets a liquid IV or two in him this morning. Just that Lake Pontchartrain Bridge is tough to get over if you're kind of weaving a little bit from dehydration. So.
Yeah, he will be back tomorrow. We are off on Wednesday. We are off on Christmas Day, of course, and back again on Friday in our show from Prattville. Warren Matthews is here with us today. We have kind of sifting over the college football playoff, the games from over the weekend were couple of good ones. Couple of bad ones, the two group of 5 games, the Ole Miss win, that was a bad ball game. Tulane was never in it. John Sumrall is done. He's now the full-time coach at Florida. Ole Miss wins it by 31, and now they got to play Georgia. Georgia's the only team to beat Ole Miss this year. Miami in a bad game. It was bad. I mean, it was not a fun game to watch. It was not a game just full of highlights. Miami wins at Texas A&M 10-3. And, of course, the Bama game as well. And Oregon beats James Madison by 17, as it turns out. Oregon had a big lead. They put a little they put a few subs in, and James Madison had to got a chance to get into it. The upcoming games, what I was impressed with Alabama. I was not impressed necessarily with Miami. I think Miami loses big to Ohio State. I actually like Texas Tech against Oregon. Like I said before, I think Indiana wins against Alabama. The best game out of all of it, the two best games will be Indiana and Alabama and Georgia and Ole Miss.
I think Georgia and Ole Miss is best game.
I think Ole Miss has a chance. I think Ole Miss, goodness gracious, nobody knew who in the world Trinidad Chambliss was. He was D2 or something like that. He has saved their season. He looks great to me. If I'm working in the transfer portal, I'm looking for guys like that out of Division II and seeing if they can, move.
Barry,
up.
You may have not seen this, but have you seen the Trinidad Chambliss commercial?
Yes.
Transferring. Look,
AT&T.
That's a dude that pivoted. That he didn't have that commercial at the beginning. They didn't tape that commercial at the beginning of the season. That's one they taped on a Monday or Sunday, and he's banked. He's cashed in on this. So
it's funny because this is how NIL is supposed to work, right? And you make your deal. Every college football player in Division I is a business. Everybody is their own brand. He has earned that by the way he has played on the field. With the college football playoff going on right now, who is getting the big money national commercials? It ain't Gunnar Stockton. It ain't Carson Beck. It's not Ty Simpson, although I love Ty. It's Trinidad Chambliss. I love that story.
Talking about transferring, and that's right in the middle of all the Kiffin stuff. I mean, it's great. I did want to raise one other thing, Barry, before we got to the second round. If I'm an A&M fan, I'm pissed because my offensive coordinator is going to Kansas State.
Yes.
And he's probably same thing with the not being 100% invested in the game plan for this first round game. And boy, the offense laid an egg. So
fans, you, me, everybody who's a fan of college football, fans are getting jaded to all of that stuff. That is screwed up, and fans are like, this is what's happened in this day and age. It's wrong that you have got to fix the calendar. The Ohio State offensive coordinator is about to be the head coach at South Florida. Like I said, he's offering Ohio State commits to come down there while he's coaching Ohio State's offense. You're right. The Texas A&M offense coordinator, Colin Klein, he's going to be at Kansas.
And he may take the D coordinator with him.
That's
the word. I mean, you're talking about peeing pissed. Yeah. A&M's going to be really chapped now.
That guy would not be coaching the offense. I don't know how they do it. I know they feel a responsibility to the student athletes. They don't want to leave while this is going on. I get it for somebody like Sumrall and Bob Chesney who want to stay and see this thing through. But if you're not in the group, in the playoff, if you're not in the college football playoff, you're seeing so many of these games. I was watching the other day with interest the South Florida Old Dominion game in Orlando. Old Dominion, Troy played them. Old Dominion won it big. And you looking at that game, this is supposed to be college football at its best, a showcase of college football. The Old Dominion quarterback already gone. They're playing a backup who'd started like 2 games in his career. The South Florida quarterback was not gone, but he was in street clothes on the sidelines. He's not playing for his team in the postseason that they earned because he knows he's going with the head coach who's already gone. They had some guy who I'd never heard of in my life before coaching South Florida, and they had a backup quarterback in there while their starting quarterback is standing beside him and giving him tips. And look, I ain't going to play. I'm not playing for this team that I've played for all year long and has put me on scholarship. I'm just going to stand there in street clothes and watch you. This is screwed up. It's not right. And nobody seems to be in a real hurry to try to fix it all. It is bad when this is your showcase and coaches are gone and players are gone and they're trying to sell tickets and get eyeballs in on ESPN to watch these kids that and I'm a college football lifer. I know a lot about these group of 5 teams. I've never heard of some of these guys out there. What are we doing? Drives me crazy. This is not the way it was supposed to be way back when somebody at some university says, it would be a diverting experience for our students. Let's get together a football team and let's play a team from another school and let's have a good time and let's learn some lessons about sacrifice and camaraderie and culture and all that. Now look at what we're doing, people. Look at it. It is wrong.
It is. It is. The times that they are changing and we are here.
So what do we do?
What do we do?
What do we do?
So they talk about it, big picture, you're basically going to have, I think, a more pro model and a college model, maybe. And that's where you get the group of 5 Power 4. And it's not going to be group of 5. It's going to be who wants to be in the Power 4 and who wants to be in the group of 5. And you call them, they're not going to be called that, but there's going to be the pro model, which is going to be the teams. There'll be super conferences, may not even be conferences. It'll just be a large grouping that play a pro model like we have now.
Right.
And then there are other teams that are going to choose, look, that's not what we want to do. We can't afford it. It's costing us money. We can't run a program. Our school loves football. It provides, people come to games, but we're not going to spend the extra $20 million to try and be competitive. We're going to play football like we have in the past with and we're going to give somebody a scholarship.
Right.
And they're going to be there and we're going to have, that's going to mean something. And there might be some transfers here and there, but it's the difference between pro and not pro. And then in the pro model, you're going to have some form of collective bargaining. You're going to have a union. Nobody likes the U word, but you're going to have a union because you got to have rules.
That is the biggest thing that has to happen. And people are talking about some of the little things like, you're going to have a updated transfer portal and you're going to have certain. Number one thing that's going to happen, that needs to happen, is collective bargaining. And I'm not a fan of
it's not true collective bargaining. In other words, it's not like a worker in a company. Okay. It's not true. It is basically just a structure that looks like collective bargaining that provides rules so that people can operate in the most efficient way.
Everybody agrees with it. The student athletes agree with it. The coaches agree with it. The administrators and presidents agree with it as well, as long as everybody agrees to the same rules. That's collective bargaining.
Yeah. Collective bargaining is, in the truest sense, in the old sense, was to protect the employees. Okay.
The workers.
Right now, the employees are running things. So collective bargaining now is to protect the employers so that they can operate in a way that it's not just craziness. And when we were kids years ago, we were forced to read the book Lord of the Flies.
Yes.
Where it's a bunch of kids, on a desert, an island, and it's chaos.
Yes.
And it's just whoever.
It starts out fine, everybody is working together, and then all of a sudden you have these power groups, and you start worshiping pigs' heads and stuff like that. Yeah. And then it goes into chaos because that evidently the moral of the story is that's human nature.
And Barry, I'm sorry to bring up a book like Lord of the Flies because I know you're not used to having that conversation on this show or shows in the past 35 years. I'm sorry to test you on that. So
I know that one. William Golding wrote it. That was I had to read it. There you go.
I know.
Yeah, but it has to change. Things have to change. It's not sustainable the way it is right now. And I'm this from John Dent, and he's right. The SEC and the Big Ten already have had conversations about leaving the NCAA and forming their own alliance to bring in more revenue for them. That's the NFL model we're talking about. And John's right. I cannot conscience that. I cannot countenance that. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. I read all the time and have conversations with people about the transfer portal. Well, the transfer portal starts January the 2nd. It ends, I don't know, the 19th, something like that. It's not very long, and it's the only one you have now. You don't have one post-spring anymore. People are saying, well, it doesn't work because the college football playoff itself doesn't reach its end until the 19th. So how are you going to be in the transfer portal if you're playing for the national championship on Monday, January the 19th, and your team is playing for the title? You're entering the transfer portal while your team is this far from the national championship game? But on the other side of things, how are you going to transfer on the, let's say, January the 16th, which is a Friday? How are you going to make your decision and transfer January 16th when your academic calendar's already started 2 weeks ago?
I think the academic calendar has been kind of thrown out the window.
Which is wrong. That's my point. Right, how do you say academic calendar doesn't matter?
When's the last time you heard of somebody not getting into school because of their grades?
I worked with a guy who came very close to that.
No, I'm saying, but Prop 48,
Oh, I see. Yeah. A guy who academically.
When you hear that, people aren't going to JUCO because of their grades unless they're just getting a GED.
That is true. Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Oh, he didn't qualify. I'm like, what?
Back in that, you had partial qualifiers.
Yeah.
There's no such thing anymore.
You've
got Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt. I bet he never attended. I don't know what kind of classes he attended.
Well,
I'd like to see his transcript.
Oh my gosh, TJ Finley or some of those guys out there. What are how many different? And I transferred a couple times, but how many different? Has he got a degree? Is he making progress? How many credits does that guy have?
I'd be curious if he had what credits he had where. That would be a fascinating study.
This is a true statement, and I don't know what it says about anything. But when Bo Nix transferred from Auburn, he got his degree from Auburn, and he had 2 years of eligibility left, and he goes to Oregon. He gets married. He's in graduate classes at Oregon. It was the right move for him to make. That's one of the big reasons why he's in the NFL right now as a starter. And somebody wrote a story about Bo Nix's lifestyle at Oregon. His wife and he have got an off-campus apartment, makes a really good amount of money. His dad, who was his high school coach, former Auburn quarterback, flies out to watch him play every home game or whatever, every game maybe. depending on the high school schedule. And Bo, all of his classes, all of his graduate level classes are online.
Yep.
He unless I miss my guess, he never had to actually darken a classroom at the University of Oregon the entire time while he got his master's degree. That's happening everywhere now. If you are late in the transfer portal, you are late in making your decisions, and you're 2 weeks into the term,
just go
in
online.
Somewhere, yeah,
you can go online.
You can go online. You can make up your work and all that, and maybe you got somebody sitting beside you saying, the answer there is B, then C. No, C. And they can coach them through all that. Nobody knows because you're in an apartment somewhere. And then you catch up there. That is, I'm not against online. I've taken online classes myself, but remote classes, but that's not the way college, the athletics is supposed to be subsidiary to the academics, right?
Well, Barry, you brought up Bo Nix at Oregon. This
Yes.
is it's not a brush with greatness. It's just a brush.
Okay.
But I was out on a golf trip in Oregon, and the guy said, hey, let's go see Oregon play. It's supposedly a really cool place. So we were staying in Eugene, and we went to the Oregon-Stanford game. Okay. It's a night game. It was one of those Pac-10 at night. I mean, it was a late game,
right.
Really late game.
Late, yes.
And so I'm walking into the stadium, and I'm probably the only person who know who Patrick Nix is.
Right. Okay.
And I'm looking over, and there's Bo's dad, and I was like, do I give him a Roll Tide or a hey coach or War Eagle or something like that? And I said, I know he doesn't want to be bothered. I'll let him walk on. But it is, I'll say, if you ever get the opportunity to go to Utsen Stadium, if I said, however I said it right, it sits up on a hill, and you take these stairs all the way up, and it is electric. And a duck on a motorcycle, I can't tell you why that gets you jived up, but
that duck, he's coming out of the tunnel, and he ain't messing around.
No.
This ain't no little, he ain't like a Shriner at the parade. The duck has got the big duck head on. He's got these little chain mesh eyes. How in the world is that duck going 55 miles an hour down the middle of Autzen Stadium, and he can't see but about 20% around him? I ain't going to be a cheerleader on there on a bet. You can forget that.
They also had something interesting. I'm sure every stadium has this now, but you get your phone and you turn your phone on and you log into something and you hold it up, and it does a light show with all the different parts of the stadium. Yeah. That just blew me away too. So
I've seen
they have got it going on.
We are going to have as a guest, since you bring that up, because I was watching the Ole Miss Tulane game, rooting for Sumrall, and they were talking about the drones that they had at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. I got to figure that out, because I mean, it was like in the mid-air lights, 150, 200 feet high, that said Rebels in block. It wasn't against a backdrop. It wasn't like
that. Those things are amazing.
How in the world? How does that happen?
So Barry, we've come a long way from 1986, when my fraternity brother and I were behind the hedges in Athens, Georgia on Labor Day weekend. And Al Bell, that's the Mike Shula to Al Bell touchdown. And I get caught on TV because they have revolutionary new technology where they've run cameras across the field. And so they've got a camera going high, and they've really never done that before. And they catch me. Everybody's shaking their shakers, and I have my finger stirring a drink. And that's on national TV. So everybody, my roommate, who is your co-host,
yes,
I get home, and there's a VCR tape. He says, watch this. And so it's queued up to me stirring my drink on national TV. And so that's bad. Okay. But not everybody saw it. People said something to me in class the next day and all that kind of stuff. Well, then we go to play Penn State later in the year. And I don't know if you remember the promos, they'll have like for ABC would have a promo of like a corner shot of like the game, like Alabama, Penn State, and have a promo. The promo shot is me stirring my drink with everybody doing this. So I made it doubly
national
awkward. But that was the technology. I mean, look how far the technology's got now. I mean, you know, you're the announcer. You've done TV. You've done radio. The shots you get now, you just didn't. You watched a different way. I mean,
I remember
you had an end zone shot. You had each sideline, and that was really about it. Maybe
that was it.
TV.
Yeah,
on the field.
That was you get so many new shots. I remember back when I was a student, when it was a big deal when I was at Florida, and you could get the crowd synchronized, orange, blue. Oh, it was like, this is really cool. Now you've got drones and laser shows, and you've got like the Montana State game. Probably ain't got a whole lot of money. They have got a video board that's like 120 yards long. It's unbelievable. In Bozeman, Montana, we have come a long way.
All right, Barry, I've got to ask you, since you brought up your Gainesville, Gurn Jr. and I had a conversation last night or the night before about a product that absolutely is our favorite, and he has it from childhood. You remember canned Gatorade? The canned green Gatorade?
Oh, yeah.
They don't make canned anymore, but it tasted different. And that might have been the old Stokely Van Camp days when they had Gatorade. But canned Gatorade.
No, it made it taste kind of tinny, you know.
It was different.
And that was the thing. It was the Gatorade back when they had glass bottles. They used to show the guy just drinking it down, and that was the thing. You don't sip the Gatorade at all. Well, more to come in just a moment. We're going to check and see if we have a Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. I hope we do, because that's a bomb. It's Longshore and McKnight without the Longshore. Warren Matthews is here. I'm Barry McKnight. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
This isn't going to work. No matter what we say, some people still drive drunk. But we're Budweiser. Giving a damn is what we do. So, if you think it's okay to drive drunk, if you think it's something that's debatable, or you just simply don't care, this Bud is not for you. Give a damn. Don't drive drunk. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet.
Well, it is in our live show about 16 minutes until. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button as we come to the close of another calendar year. We have continued to go strong on this program. We can continue to grow it with your with your help and with your support and all of that. Glad you're along with us here. You can watch us, of course, live on YouTube. Just tell everybody. It's easy to tell them. Longshore McKnight. Just search for it on YouTube, and it's right there every morning live from 7 to 9 Central and loop throughout the day. You can also catch it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. John says Apple iTunes, but it's Apple Podcasts or anywhere. Once he gets into in groove, it's hard to get him out of that habit. But also several other platforms, basically wherever you get your podcasts, it's very likely that you can catch us here. It's been a growing enterprise, and we certainly do appreciate it here as we get now here deep into 2025, heading into 2026.
So, Barry, I've got to ask you, it was, I guess, however long ago, August, year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're savvy, the internet, broadcasting and stuff. Still, you had to be going, what is this all about? Is this going to work? Is this something that we can do? Is it something that, what is this? So I'm kind of interested. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
but I'm interested to see what you think about how it's evolved and, settled in now. And,
Well, it is. I knew a lot of people who had done this. We've got friends in Birmingham who have done this to great success too, and they're good friends of ours. And I've started to see them all over. I listen to a lot of audio podcasts because I traveled so much, and the video podcasts, the technology. 5 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to do this. The technology just did not exist to this level. It would have taken a whole lot more than it is now. Basically, anybody can have their own podcast on TV. You get yourself a backdrop and a microphone and, an internet connection, and boom, you're there. The key is whether or not you can do it well. And I had a pretty good sense that, I've known John ever since March the 19th, 1997, when we first started working together. And I knew we'd be able to provide content. I knew that we would be able to do it. But you just wonder how it's going to work until it starts working. And it's really, Gurn Jr.'s done a lot. We've, John and I have had the rapport for a long time. The ability to do it, I never questioned it. I just, I'm glad we found a niche with so many great viewers who continue to spread the word. And that's the key right there. We can have all of the social media presence in the world and, get the word out, but it's the word of mouth that's probably the best that I have seen. And we certainly do appreciate all that. Again, another one from John Dent here. Confirm or deny, Warren. John said, I used to work with a guy that is Warren's twin brother from Wisconsin.
So, Barry, I have to tell you this. I am and I know you know this word because you've been on Jeopardy, but I am a doppelganger. So there are people, I swear, I have more people come up to me and say, and say, hey, good to see you. And then they realize, oh, maybe I'm not, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing.
You just got one of those faces.
It's just one of those things, and here's one, my brother-in-law, who's a surgeon, probably one of the most educated men I know.
Right.
He continued to sell me this, and I don't believe it now. I didn't believe it then. He said, Urban Meyer looks exactly like you. I don't see it. But it's something he saw, I don't get it.
Urban Meyer.
I don't get it.
See that either.
One of those. Maybe I have a quality or
much better looking than Urban Meyer.
No,
I don't get that at all.
I've gone through varying weight levels throughout my life, so it might also be different people who that I remind them of.
Well, I used to get John Tesh every once in a while.
I would go with John Tesh, who's living in Greenville. John Tesh had a great. Not John Tesh. I'm talking Tosh.0.
Lane Kiffin.
Kind of go for a younger version of him.
Yeah.
But I like old John Tesh. I think John Tesh has written like everything he has like an amazing book of music or something crazy.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, he can play the piano and all this. I saw that there is one thing, some guitarist, he's an older guy, obviously, that looks just like Nick Saban. I think he's German or something like that. Those things happen. But it is weird. Just if you can't spell doppelganger, just put, looks like Nick Saban in Google and find that out. It's crazy out there. We have got a lot of content during the week because we're off on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be spending some time with several of our normal midweek guests, either earlier or later. So we've got 3 days worth of programming with 5 days worth of content to be packed in this week. Make sure to, again, be a part of all of that in and amongst all of your holiday revelries and stuff as well. John, from what I understand, and Gurn is working in the background to ensure that John will be out. I'm sorry, John will be back in time to be on the Tuesday show. Really interested in his thoughts on the Alabama game. Do we feel?
What do you have broadcasting wise coming up? Because are you doing basketball?
There's no basketball this week. We did a basketball game on Saturday on ESPN Plus and on the radio, a win for Troy against Marshall. And it's weird. My wife and I were talking about this yesterday. I don't have another game of anything until New Year's Eve. I have never had 9 days without a game at Troy ever. I don't think I've ever had 5.
I watched the UAB game.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, that was big. That was big for the Troy.
I tell you, I just like Troy's team.
Yeah.
I just like I like the way they play.
Yes. It's it's not like they used to. They still got to get better defensively. You got 2 stretch fours and 3 shooting guards, basically. But that's what college basketball is getting to be more than anything else.
All right. What about your guy that went to Indiana? Is he having a decent year?
He is. Indiana is doing well. He Tatum Connerway, who won the league, who was the MVP of the league last year, and Troy won the Sun Belt tournament, went to the NCAA tournament. He's doing well. I think he's their second leading scorer, leads the team in steals and assists, making a lot.
I was about to say, I wonder what his check looks like.
It's big. It's big. It is 7 figures, and you can't blame him because the other thing about all of this transfer portal stuff and all of this high school recruiting stuff, particularly for football, is the aspect of it is really gone of, this guy was raised an Auburn fan, orange and blue all throughout. He couldn't go anywhere else other than Auburn. That ain't a thing anymore. It's whenever you hear one of the top 100 players in the country, I'm proud to announce my commitment to so-and-so. It's not because he can be developed there.
Right.
It's not because, his parents went there or he grew up going to games there. He is making more money there than he is anywhere else. Sometimes it has something to do with, what the position group is, what he'll do in terms of a starting job, what the opportunity is. But mostly and all the time, it's about money. Same thing with the transfer portal. When you see, and some of these stories, and it's going to happen with Alabama too as well. What's up with Auburn and already 18 teams in the 18 players in the transfer portal? Last count I heard 16 players transferring. Anything new? A lot of that is because.
All right, Barry, of that 16,
yes,
I would say they wanted to keep 2. The rest is new coach getting rid of people
and players testing the market.
Yeah,
it's all business. Do you want to just give the top 10 players that you want to keep this amount of money so they stay, or are there really 2 or 3 that you have absolutely 100% got to have, and they're getting all your money? That was the thing last year that I think hurt Auburn, was not only, again, not getting a quality quarterback out of the transfer portal. Peyton Thorne, Jackson Arnold just were not great. But with Jackson Arnold, you compound that because not only was he not the player that they needed, but they spent $2 million on him. That's $2 million.
So where
they could have spent for another offensive lineman.
Where does he go?
This is what I think, and I don't know. I've never talked to Coach Brown about it at North Texas, but Neil Brown is a new coach at North Texas. He's an offensive guy, really good on the offensive side. Jackson Arnold is from Denton, Texas, where North Texas is.
Makes sense.
He's got to play. It is a group of 5 program, but he has swung and missed twice on Power 4 programs, even though he's a 5-star guy. I think Jackson Arnold just says, the heck with the money. I'll take what I can get from North Texas, which is probably going to be a pretty good bid, and I'll stay at home where I'm comfortable and I can just play. I don't have to be the savior of anything or the face of anything. I can just go ahead and play. I think somebody like him, and there are a couple of other guys in the transfer portal that have just not worked out elsewhere, that there's nothing wrong with the group of 5 just to get a chance to play. Somebody like DJ Lagway at Florida. I think he's a good kid. I think he's a great player, but he did not hear what he wanted to hear from John Sumrall, who was asking about his work ethic. Hey, what kind of a teammate are you? How hard do you work in practice? And Lagway is saying, why have I got to answer questions like this? I've been in here for 2 years. I shouldn't have to prove anything to anybody. Son, you prove something to everybody every day.
It's just like a coach with a GM. I mean, if you're not the GM's guy, they're gonna go get their guy. I mean, John Sumrall is gonna have his guy. He's not gonna worry about developing a relationship with somebody he doesn't know, who's already been there and has bad habits or other habits. Right. He's gonna get his guy, and it's gonna be on him. That's on him to keep his job, and that's why Hugh Freeze failed, is because he didn't get the guy. He didn't get him twice.
Yes, and Freeze in his last interview that I saw with him, he said, boy, he wish it would have worked out for Jackson Arnold. If it had worked out for Jackson, then he would still be here. That is true.
That's absolutely true.
That is the truth. And you've got not only that, but you spend $2 million to get him, and that's a lot of money. You could have gotten another quarterback for a lot less than that, and you could have spent $1.5 million on, again, another offensive lineman or another wide receiver or somebody else on defense. So that hurts you doubly. That's the thing about the high-profile guys in the transfer portal. You cannot miss.
No.
You cannot miss on them, because it's the same thing with, signing junior college players. When you get a junior college guy, he had better be able to be plugged in and play right then. Otherwise, that's money that you could, or a spot you could have given to somebody developmental or something else like that.
So tell me Troy's philosophy. Where are they mining? I mean, they need the same number of players, and they need them now.
It works for Troy out of junior college.
College, do they do D2 at all?
Well, it's interesting. This is what has happened there, because Troy has a really good cornerback. I will guarantee you that the best cornerback in the transfer portal is a kid named Jaquez White from Troy. He came from Division II Washburn University. He's from Blackshear, Georgia. He is a corner. He is big. He's 210 pounds a corner, maybe 6'1". He's physical. He's a great cover corner. He just got started from a tiny little school in Division II. Troy has great success getting Division II guys to come up to the group of 5. And they'll do well, and this guy's now in the transfer portal. So you face that. But also Troy, it works for Troy to get junior college guys. I think Troy has signed 18 JUCO guys this year, guys that, fell through the cracks when they were recruited out of high school, that have done really well in junior college, that, the Power 5 schools, the Power 4 schools, they're going through the transfer portal trying to find those guys. And these JUCO guys have been under-recruited. Troy's got a couple of JUCO guys that I'm telling you are going to be studs, that they're not having to battle for money with against the Power 4 school, that they can get in and give them an opportunity and give them minimal money, and you keep them for a couple of years, and as opposed to trying to develop a freshman who gets in, gets developed, has one good year, and then goes off to a Power 4 school. It's all been interesting conversation. Warren, we really appreciate you jumping in, being with us today. It's been a lot of fun. Always good to have you in with us on the program. Tomorrow on the show, we'll definitely have Travis Ryer on YouTube, recapping Alabama's come from behind win over Oklahoma and previewing the matchup against Indiana in a week and a half. Also, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, will join us as well. What's going on in the transfer portal for Auburn? What about some of the defections that you've read about? All that as well. Many thanks to Gurn Jr., our producer, for being with us as well. From all of us here, we look forward to talking with you tomorrow on Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.